The aftermath of former U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff policy is once again casting a shadow over the Japanese auto industry. Mazda has decided to temporarily halt production of vehicles destined for Canada.
According to the Japanese Nihon, Keizai, Shimbun and Nikkei on the 18th, Japanese automaker Mazda announced that it will stop production of the CX-50 model, which is being produced at its Alabama plant in the United States for export to Canada from May 12. This production suspension is analyzed as a result of the 25% tariff on imported cars imposed by the Donald Trump administration and the retaliatory tariffs implemented by Canada in response. Mazda expressed a cautious stance, saying that it is watching how the tariff policy change will affect its production and export strategies. This decision only applies to vehicles for export to Canada and CX-50s for sale in the United States and export to other overseas markets will continue to be produced. Since Mazda does not have a production facility in Canada, it has maintained the method of producing vehicles in the United States and exporting them to Canada. As of last year, Mazda sold about 72,000 vehicles in the Canadian market, and the CX-50 accounted for about 15% of these. Therefore, the suspension of production of this vehicle could have a considerable impact on the Canadian market. But Mazda explained that there will be no major disruption for the time being, as dealers have sufficient inventory. Nikkei commented on this matter. Mazda is responding sensitively to the tariff issue, and future measures will depend on changes in the trade environment between the US and Canada. An official from Mazda Canada said, "We are assessing how tariffs will affect our business in the US and our global supply chain, and are taking measures to reduce risks for customers and dealers." Meanwhile, the Alabama plant where the CX-50 is produced is jointly operated by Toyota and Mazda. However, Toyota has stated that it currently plans to continue producing vehicles for export to Canada. In addition to Mazda, Japanese automakers such as Honda and Nissan are also moving to increase their production in the US. In response to former President Trump's trade policy, Honda is pushing forward with plans to produce about 90% of its vehicles sold in the United States locally, while Nissan is also considering withdrawing plans to reduce production at its U.S. plants and shifting some Japanese-made vehicles to U.S. production. This is interpreted as a strategic shift in the global auto industry to reduce tariff burdens and minimize supply chain risks.
The invisible wall of tariffs is having a real impact on the global automobile market. The response of global automakers, including Mazda, is drawing attention.